Welcome back. Nearly 1,000 people overdosed on heroin in Manatee County last year alone, and that created a dramatic increase in the number of children requiring foster care.
In response, a charitable organization is making an effort to develop a plan to serve these children. ABC 7's Dwayne Lindo has more on this story tonight. Dwayne.
Well, Haley, this was the first meeting held by the not-for-profit foundation, and their plan is to bring in other organizations to address this issue that they say is a huge problem in Manatee County.
It affects the rich, the poor, and people of all ages, even children.
We're seeing a lot more kids in foster care because of the addiction issues that we're having around the heroin and the opioids.
Now the nonprofit Manatee Community Foundation has been awarded a grant to develop an action plan to combat the issue.
If we can raise some philanthropic dollars around the plan, those dollars would be awarded to the nonprofits that are specifically addressing this through families in our community.
And while looking for investors in Manatee and surrounding counties, the foundation is looking for ideas as well.
We are bringing together people who are coming at the foster care issue from so many different angles. These are very dedicated and passionate people who have been working in this area for years.
According to the Florida Department of Children and Families, 439 children were removed from their homes from January 1st through October of last year, all who were in need of foster homes.
And 60% of those are because of the heroin epidemic that's happening in our community. And these kids are staying long past when they should have permanency. It's over half of them stay in foster care system for over a year, which can be very damaging for them.
For Family Partnership Executive Director Katrina Bellamere, her organization delivers programs fostering effective parenting.
There's a place, I think, for everybody in the community to get involved in helping, with this crisis, not just with the parents, with the kids who are kind of those victims that don't have a voice.
Facilitator Bill Little is hoping the next 5 sessions will produce some of the answers in tackling this complex issue.
There may be other compelling issues that might surface that will be important for this group to consider and possibly set aside plans for the future.
The foundation's plan to address foster care needs will be completed and available to the public the first week of April. Back to you.
Thank you, Dwayne. A follow-up now on the arrest of a woman suspected of being involved in a string of deaths across Florida and Alabama. Authorities say Mary Rice surrendered yesterday following a standoff at a West Georgia motel. She's now being questioned by investigators and faces multiple charges. Rice and William Billy Boyette had been on the run since January 31st when the bodies of 2 women were found at a motel in the Florida Panhandle. The 2 are also suspected in the death of Peggy Braz in Lillian, Alabama. A 4th victim was also shot on Monday and later died at the hospital.
The search is on for an armed robber in Manatee County. Manatee County Sheriff's deputies say a man walked into the Circle K store on 30th Avenue East in Bradenton just after midnight. Deputies say he pointed a gun at the clerk and demanded money and then ran off with the cash. If you have any information that can help investigators, you can call Crime Stoppers at 866-634-TIPS.
A local organization that focuses on the education, financial sustainability, and health of Manatee County is now combining efforts with United Way Suncoast. In 6 months, the United Way of Manatee plans to merge with United Way Suncoast, but none of the services are expected to change. The group will have an area board focused on Manatee County. The boards of both directors from both organizations are now in discussions about how they can best work together in September.
The plan with the employees is to keep us focused on the work and the impact that we have going on in our communities. It's too early to say how everybody will be placed and what functions they'll be serving because we have so much talent in the region that we want to be careful and sure of how we put people to best use.
Both boards voted unanimously in January to move forward with the merger.
Let's get another check on our weather. Pretty nice day out there. Here's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with more. Bob.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah, it was a real decent day throughout most of it, and then some clouds and even some fog started rolling in, especially north into Anna Maria Island. You can see from the webcam here, beautiful clear skies, and then as we move through time by about 2:30, you can see those low clouds starting to come on in, things thickening up a bit. We have a real good chance to get some sea fog throughout the overnight hours, and could be rather thick around daybreak tomorrow. Then a front's going to wash it through and clear it out. By midday, we'll start to see winds out of the northwest, and that'll usher in some cooler air. The no watches are out. Last night at this time, we had tornado watches across the Panhandle and throughout Alabama, Mississippi, all the way down to Louisiana, but not the case today. Some showers and storms over North Florida right now near South south of Jacksonville, pushing off to the east. Some pretty heavy activity earlier near Gainesville. That has since moved on toward the east. And for us, we're high and dry here right now. Some clouds have moved in, but no real threat of any significant rainfall right now. But we could see some showers during the morning hours. More on that coming up in a few minutes. Back to you.
Thank you, Bob. Now to the latest in Washington. Last night, Justice Department lawyers argued the president was well within his legal right to impose a travel ban, but Washington state lawyers insisted it was unconstitutional and damaging. With the fate of his immigration ban from 7 majority Muslim countries up to the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals, President Trump is upset that his executive order is before the courts in the first place. Speaking before a group of sheriffs and police chiefs, President Trump insisted that it should be clear the law is on his side.
You could be a lawyer, or you don't have to be a lawyer. If you were a good student in high school or a bad student in high school, you can understand this. And it's really incredible to me that we have a court case that's going on so long.
The president even read the provision of the law that details presidential powers to limit immigration, and he called what he heard listening to the oral arguments on television, quote, disgraceful. A ruling from the court could come as early as the end of this week.
America's trust in mass media sinking to a new low. According to a recent Gallup poll, 32% say they have a great deal or fair amount of trust in mainstream media. That's down 8 percentage points from last year. New College political science professor Frank Alcock says President Trump's attacks on the media may be part of the reason.
He continues to push his own version or his own reality that morphs on a day-to-day basis, and in the process, the negative coverage that he gets from mainstream media, he will continually attack it and try to delegitimize it.
Coming up tonight on ABC 7 News at 7, we look at the challenges ahead for covering the new administration.
Across the country, abandoned rail lines have become community trails, more than 30,000 miles worth. It's called Rails to Trails.
And since 2008, bike riders, runners, and rollerbladers have enjoyed Sarasota County's Legacy Trail. The former rail line is more than 12 miles long from near Clark Road south to Venice, where it connects with the Venetian Waterway Trail. It has quickly become a popular Suncoast attraction.
How you doing? Good, how are you? Good.
Even on a Wednesday morning, there's steady traffic on the Legacy Trail. But only people-powered machines are allowed here, which is one of the main reasons trail users love it.
My wife and I ride this every morning to have a good start to our day, so that's why we love it. And we are able to come from where we live, fortunately, all the way down to how far we want to ride and back to our home without going on a road, which is wonderful.
Sarasota County estimates at least 175,000 users are on the Legacy Trail each year. There are several trailheads and parking areas along its length, and it goes right through Oscar Scheer State Park in Osprey.
We see wildlife. This is particularly more adaptable to that, I guess. You know, birds, and saw a bobcat the other day, and see some turtles, and it's great to see that nature right near where we live.
For decades, these tracks carried the Ringling Circus train south to Venice for its winter headquarters. But in the future, they could become home of the Legacy Trail, an extension to the north right into downtown Sarasota and Payne Park. Last year, Sarasota County approved a feasibility study on buying 7.5 miles of little-used rail property and extending the Legacy Trail. Questions remain how the land and trail construction will be paid for. But supporters remained enthusiastic about the possibility of a trail through the heart of Sarasota.
It's not going to be a possibility, it's going to happen.
Yeah. I like your optimism.
I just think there's so much momentum, it's going to be impossible not to do it.
For decades, local transportation planners have looked into the potential of passenger trains returning someday to the Suncoast. One idea is to build a commuter rail right down the middle of Interstate 75. But planners say commuter trains remain a distant and very expensive idea. For now, we'll have to travel down memory lane to relive the glory days of trains here on the Suncoast.
That was Scott's report there. Very interesting. Well, the downtown Bradenton Judicial Center parking garage is getting a makeover as part of a bigger project. The west entrance will be blocked for several hours over the next 2 days, while a mural is painted by artist Eduardo Mendita. The group Realize Bradenton says that the mural is part of its Walk Bradenton project. They're hoping the art attracts some younger visitors to the area. And the artist behind this piece says public art is an important part of the community.
Most people don't have a chance to go to galleries or really don't even give it a thought about going to a museum or something. You know, they're wrapped up in their just everyday things. But when you have a mural in the side of a building, you know, 3 stories tall, it's kind of hard to miss.
Visitors will also soon be able to download a new interactive app to learn more about the area. Realize Bradenton officials say they hope to have this ready for the public by mid-March.
Still to come in your Suncoast News tonight.
A large furniture retailer just got bigger. A look at the new store, so huge it needed 1,700 parking spots.
Hi, I'm Linda Carson. Coming up, you're going to hear something absolutely beautiful. A sneak preview of the Festival of French Music.
Come into a California Closet showroom to experience our quality materials and construction and collaborate with our designers to create the perfect custom solution for any room. Go to CaliforniaClosets.com to request a free design consultation and locate the showroom nearest to you.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Florida's last private island is a waterfront lifestyle like no other. This is Harbor Isle, just 5 minutes from the sugar sand beaches of Anna Maria Island. This sun-splashed paradise invites you to enjoy natural adventures and all the recreation of a tropical resort. Island coach homes and waterfront condos are now available from the high 400s, plus incredible savings on move-in ready homes. Come tour 6 designer models. This is the time of your life. Make it island time at Harbor Isle. Go to mintofla.com now.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Being the caregiver for someone you love is truly a blessing. But sometimes you can lose a part of yourself. To be your best, for them and for you, it's important to have time to be able to recharge your batteries. When you call Tidewell Hospice, they can give you a chance to do just that, and with the peace of mind of knowing your loved one is in the very best hands. Tidewell Hospice, it's more than you think.
Thinking about having surgery can be a scary thing. And it takes somebody who's in severe pain, bring them in, take good care of them, and then get them out and back to their life is huge. We focus on minimally invasive approaches when possible, and oftentimes people can be back up on their feet in a day or two with a whole lot less pain than before surgery. We fix people's lives. We do.
There's never been a better time to call California Closets. Now, during our Winter White event, save up to 20% when you upgrade to an Italian-inspired wood grain finish. Contact us for your free design consultation today. Visit our showroom or online at CaliforniaClosets.com.
Something new is coming to the Suncoast, kicking off this weekend, the Sarasota French Music Festival.
And that is in the spotlight. ABC 7's Linda Carson has more.
Well, we have some fantastic art and cultural organizations here on the Suncoast, and when you consider that they're all drawing from the same audience, you might think they'd be competitive, but just the opposite. They are all joining together to present our first ever Festival of French Music. Joseph Holt came up with the idea for a festival of French music as he prepared programs for the two organizations that he directs, the Artist Series Concerts and Gloria Musicae.
I started to realize that there's some other institutions here in Sarasota, other arts organizations that are also featuring some French music at this time. So we banded together and created this French Festival of Music.
It runs February 12th to March 25th.
It features the Artist Series, Gloria Musicae, the Sarasota Music Archives, the Sarasota Opera is doing Dialogues of the Carmelites throughout the whole month of March. Even Selby Gardens is featuring Marc Chagall and all of his wonderful Riviera paintings.
The kickoff event is a concert at the Faith Lutheran Church, February 12th at 3 p.m.
It's a young cellist from Paris, France, so he's our true French artist that's coming in. He's part of the Young Concert Artists Association out of New York City.
And on Thursday, February 16th at Michael's on East, the Artist Series Concerts presents La Flûte Enchantée. It will feature Betsy Hudson Treba, the principal flutist of the Sarasota Orchestra.
I'm going to be performing two beloved French flute sonatas, one by Francis Poulenc and the other by Jules Mouquet, which is a relatively unknown composer, but a fantastic piece called La Flûte de Pan. And then I'm also doing a piece by Fauré, and then I'm doing two works with Jenny and Joe together.
It's going to be an afternoon of gorgeous music, and not just your typical that you see, just instrument or just a singer, but it's a real collaboration between voice, flute, and piano, which you don't see often.
It'll require the very best of both of them. And also a part of the Festival of French Music, next Monday, Music Mondays with June LaBelle will feature the cello and the piano at the Church of the Palms at 10:30 that morning, and at the Venice Presbyterian Church that afternoon at 3. And there's also a lecture at Selby Gardens Monday at 11 and 1 p.m.
Thank you, Linda.
All right, now to the latest on that accident at Circus Sarasota practice today that sent 5 performers to the hospital.
Those performers fell from a high wire while rehearsing an 8-person pyramid stunt under the Big Top next to UTC. Right now, representatives with Circus Sarasota are releasing some statements about the accident, so let's join them live.
Nick and his troupe were practicing this daring stunt to be the grand finale of Synergy, Circus Sarasota's 2017 winter production, which opens this Friday, February 10th. There were 5 artists injured in the accident. No life-threatening injuries have been sustained, and all of those injured are being attended to by incredible doctors here on the Sun Coast at various facilities. Along with Nick, we are confident, based on what we know now, that all of those involved in today's accident will make a full recovery. I can't go into the detail of the names of those who have been injured or their injuries, but that probably will be a further update from us. We take safety very seriously at Circus Sarasota. We make sure safety precautions are adhered to, and I want to be clear that this was not an equipment or rigging failure. Despite that diligence within our industry, accidents do happen. Our thoughts and prayers continue to be with Nick, all of the members of his troupe, and their families, as well as the circus family. Many of you know that we're a very tight community, and we work very closely together nationally and internationally, so this ripple will be felt there. We'll be sending out updates as necessary. Circus Sarasota's 2017 winter performances will continue as scheduled and will open this Friday. A full calendar of performances are available at circusarts.org, and we encourage you to stay tuned to updates from us.
Will you still be continuing this particular part of the performance, or will this be scrubbed, this particular act?
There's still discussion on what will be the grand finale. I can't give you that update at this point.
Was there a net, and is that common practice to have one, to not have one?
It's Walenda tradition. Several generations of high wire walking where they do not use a net. And that is common practice for the Walendas in their high wire presentations.
Somebody lost their balance. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
I can't give any specifics about the actual accident. That is an analysis through the professionals, and possibly we'll be able to update you on that after our review.
So human error?
I can't quite specify what the exact reason was, but it was not a rigging failure and it was not an equipment failure.
Will this injury affect any of the other shows? Will the injury affect any of the other parts of the show?
Well, Nick Wallenda and his troupe present the finale of Circus Sarasota, and I do believe that the circus and its passionate artists are very resilient. It's always continued to evolve through other accidents, and so we intend to present a high wire act as part of Circus Sarasota.
Will there be a net, or will they perform without a net?
Again, can't quite answer that question other than to this lady's point, which is Wallendas have never used a net.
Of the injured, how many of those are members of the Wallenda family?
I believe that there is only one that is a direct relative or member of the Wallenda family injured.
The other students from Sailor Circus, who are the other 4?
There are no students, current enrolled students, as part of the Wallenda troupe. There are some graduates that work quite closely with Nick Wallenda, graduates of Sailor Circus, but there were no current students enrolled or working in this particular performance.
How many performances are they expected to do here before they're done?
32 performances plus a dress rehearsal scheduled for tomorrow evening.
So you said that all
Yes.
5 are expected to make a full recovery, or at least they're not in critical.
That's correct. No fatalities, no life-threatening injuries. And we do believe from what we've heard, and of course I think all of us who are blessed to live here on the Suncoast know that there's great medical care, and those that are being attended to are being tended to with diligence and care.
How are the ticket sales for the show so far?
They have been strong. You know, our legacy as an organization and a nonprofit is to continue bringing live performance here to the west coast of Florida. It's part of the heritage and tradition, and that will not change.
Is there anything that does plan to change after this incident?
Again, right now our focus is making sure that everybody is medically tended to. Tonight there is actually a rehearsal going on for the performance, and as Pedro aptly put it, all of us in the industry believe that the show will go on, it must go on, and we'll be looking at how it will go on.
Are they practicing that finale tonight, or no?
No.
The one member of the Wallenda family that was injured, was that his mom?
No, she is not performing, or as a, you know, it was not part of this troupe.
And what does Nick have to say? Have you spoke to him?
I did speak to Nick, and obviously it's very important to him that we concentrate on the recovery of these artists, and that was very, very important, and we continue to pray and lift them all up in prayer. And I know that Nick will be making his own statements, so I hate to speak on his behalf, other than that he has a great amount of care for his troupe as well as the art of circus.
Can you tell us about how long they were rehearsing before the accident happened?
Well, they have, you know, they're in constant, all circus performers are constantly rehearsing. And so there's always another show and there's always another event. So it's difficult for me to say how long because they're always practicing. But this particular stunt has been practiced numerous times without incident. And they practiced both at Nick's training facility and here at our site. We've been up since middle of January.
Is there a governing body that investigates the accident?
There are several. There are several as well as our own, and I'm sure we'll be talking more about that in the future. At this point, I can't comment directly on that.
Do we know when and where Nick is going to make his statement?
I don't yet, but we're certainly going to inform you. Beth will be sending out media alerts, as will Nick's management team, and certainly keep you abreast of when that's happening, and other updates as it relates to.
Again, if you had to tell us already, how many members of the Wallenda family were involved in the accident?
I believe it was just one in the injuries. Okay, thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you.
That was Jennifer Mitchell of she leads the Circus Arts Conservatory there, and I guess the best news we heard is that full recovery expected for all those performers who were injured today.
Right, and the names have not been released yet. We did hear that Nick Wallenda had one family member who was believed to be involved in this stunt. Jennifer Mitchell said it was not his mother. We don't know who that family member was. As we said, identity's not released yet, but we are hoping for a full recovery of everyone involved, and it sounds like that's what will be happening.
And again, the shows start on Friday.
Right.
And they say they will go on as scheduled, as is a circus tradition.
Right.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
Come into a California Closet showroom to experience our quality materials and construction and collaborate with our designers to create the perfect custom solution for any room. Go to CaliforniaClosets.com to request a free design consultation and locate the showroom nearest to you.
Luxury for less at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKZ Sports Utility for $249 per month or a 2017 MKZ for $299 per month. We are proud to introduce the newest addition to the Lincoln lineup, the all-new 2017 Lincoln Continental. We have a great selection and ready for immediate delivery. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Suncoast since 1978. We're located 2 miles north of the Sarasota Bradenton Airport on US 41.
The official salon of ABC7. Cutting loose salon.
Nobody beats Bacon's with Bassett. Rich finishes, beautiful colors, and over 1,000 different fabrics and leathers to choose from. Bassett Custom Furniture at Bacon's Furniture and Design in Sarasota. Right now, all custom premier sofas, upholstered headboards, and ottomans are 40% off. Don't miss this opportunity to get the custom ordered furniture you've been dreaming of for a limited time at 40% off. Only at Bacon's Furniture and Design in Sarasota. Nobody beats Bacon's.